Okay, we're in Mesillas Yesharim Perek Zayin. In the middle, we started Chelkei has Rizus. So Rizus again means ALACRITY, which means the way it defines it, to do it right away. Hakdama mitzvahs, v'lashlomas inyanam, to do things right away, not to procrastinate. Opposite of procrastination. So after a person is a zohir and he's careful what he's doing, he's conscious of what he's doing, which also would include, even though he didn't stress it so much, but it also includes not only watching out for the pitfalls, for Averis also, it would include also to notice the mitzvahs, to notice the possibility, there's damnut, the possibility of a mitzvah that's available. But even after that, that's not enough. He also has to be swift and do it right away, not to push it off. And in the previous parak, he explained because there's a person is naturally lazy and there's the Yetzer Hara who's out to get it. And he also said that it's dangerous because it's passive. A person doesn't realize the danger because it's not an active evil, it's a passive evil. You give that mashal over there. Also, it's a slow process. He doesn't realize the results don't come immediately. So he has room to fool himself that nothing's happening, but really something is happening. It's a slow process, but then it adds up. The case of the Shlomo Melech says he passed by a field of a lazy man, and he saw the results. It was a slow process. It wasn't noticeable. And another point he said is that people have it's camouflage because they have excuses. They don't realize even that they're being lazy. Since they conjure up excuses, rationalization, so then they think that it's something else. They don't really. The symptoms are covered up because he thinks that each symptom is justified, rationalized. So therefore, all these things together make that it's a difficult issue to deal with. So in this parak Zayin, so he started dividing it into its parts. What is it does always to break it down. So the first thing he told us is the first breakdown that he's going to make. Well, the only breakdown really is going to be the issue of kodam chalas ha'maisa and nachar chalas ha'maisa. One is to start doing it right away. That when you have an opportunity to do a mitzvah, he told us there are three categories, three applications really would be a better word. Three applications of starting to do a mitzvah right away. One is when the time comes. If it's a time-related mitzvah, so before the time comes, you can't do it. But as soon as it's permissible to do it, so then to do it right away. The other point would be that if there was a mitzvah that has to do with circumstance, a circumstantial mitzvah. It's not a time-related mitzvah, it's a circumstantial mitzvah. So when the circumstance arises. And the third one is that it's nothing to do with time, nothing to do with circumstance. He just didn't think about it. And then he realized the opportunity, an idea to do a mitzvah. So also he shouldn't procrastinate, he should do it as soon as possible. Somebody mentioned that it doesn't mean to do it without thinking. We're not talking about pezizut, when a person is going to be, what is the word of pezizut? I forgot in English. A person is hasty. So it means a person that we're not saying to do it fast and not to do it well. What is that? Whatever's necessary in order to do it well, but don't push it off.
Think it out.
Yeah. Trying to think of the word is right there. Okay, I don't remember the word. Okay. So that's the first thing he spoke about. The first chiluk he talks about is when you have the opportunity to start doing a mitzvah, either because of time has arrived, or the circumstance has arrived, or the idea has arrived. So do it right away and don't push it off. And he brought different chazal about that, and different chazal where they encourage the reason they do it as soon as possible. The word makdimim means like kodem, they do it as soon as possible. The last thing he brought was an interesting idea that we wondered why it wasn't earlier, that he says that in Olam Haba, as much as a person is going to exert himself in this world to get that attribute of zrizus, he's going to merit it in Olam Haba, which opened up a new light for us, because we thought that the whole issue of zrizus is only in order to get the mitzvah. But now, if he says that it's also going to be in Olam Haba, so then it means that there's more to it just than to get a mitzvah. If it only would be in medium in order to be able to make sure you get it, then Olam Haba has nothing to do with getting mitzvahs. In Olam Haba you don't get mitzvahs. In Olam Haba it's all over. You're only getting the reward of what you did already. So if the whole purpose of zrizus would be only a medium to get to accomplish, so then it wouldn't make sense that he says that's going to be in Olam Haba. So it must be that there's a certain shleimus, there's a certain perfection of a mila of being zorus, and he's going to benefit from that shleimus in Olam Haba. I think that the way to explain it would be, in this world, The zrizus is to do avoda, to serve Hashem. So a person who's going to be a zaris, he's going to be serving Hashem's zrizus. In Olam Haba, it's the issue of getting reward, of getting closer to Hashem. So over there it's also possible to be, as you say, fashlafin or zaris. Is he going to be full of action in Olam Haba? Over there the action is not going to be in order to do mitzvahs. Over there the action is going to be in order to get closer to Hashem.
Is that what it's saying, that he'll be zaris in Olam Haba, or is it saying that he's going to get reward in Olam Haba for being a zaris here, besides that he does the mitzvahs, but he does them in such a...
So it says openly, if we look in Perek Zayin, here by me it's the first paragraph, it's about 20 lines into the chapter 7. After he brings the Chazal about who you're not gaining almost.
Second paragraph, first,
the first paragraph, the end of the first paragraph. How does your second paragraph start?
Or Achazurizus.
It's right before that. So 5 lines before that. So it says, it's 5 lines before the end of the first paragraph. He brings a pasuk of hu yinagenu almus, Rizus, and he says that Rizus is a midas shlemus gadol, asher tiva shelo damona mimenu ata. ALACRITY is a great perfection that a person's nature holds him back from it. A person who grabs onto it, seizes it as much as he could. In the future he will truly merit it. He's going to merit it. Not that he's going to get reward for being a zaris. He's going to merit the midah of zrizus. He says it's a big shleimus, and he's going to merit that attribute of shleimus in olam haba. Hashem will give it to him for his reward. Because he worked for it in the time of avodah in this world, Hashem is going to give it to him. That's going to be his reward. His reward is going to be that he's going to be a zaris. So I think there's a Gemara that Mamish addresses this issue. The Gemara says, I think it's at the end of Brachos, maybe in the end of Nida, I don't remember exactly, but it says, Tzadikim don't stay at rest. The righteous, they don't stay at rest, not in this world, not in the world to come. And it says that over there they're going to be going from schar to schar. What does the Gemara bring pasuk over there?
Level to level.
They'll go higher. They're going to go from strength to strength. That's the expression of strength to strength. They'll go mechayel al chay. So what does it mean? The strength in Olam Haba is not going to be that they're doing more service of Hashem, because there's not the place over there. Over there the place is to be closer to Hashem, to get so they'll be getting more reward. They won't be going slowly and pushed from one to the next. It's going to be an active reward. So the zrizus in Olam Haba is going to be that they'll be active and enthusiastic in the reward that they're getting. So it says openly the point of zrizus is not only in medium in order to do mitzvahs and not lose out, like I said earlier. It's also be'etzem in itself. It's also a shleimus which is worthy of trying to get in order to get it to Olam Haba. If he gets it in this world, he'll be merited in Olam Haba.
You say like that. Our job is to get the body to be zaris in this world, but the neshama catches on and it becomes a zaris.
You might say that the neshama is really a zaris here also, but the body's holding it back.
Right.
The neshama is fiery in this world also,
yeah,
but the body is holding it back. But I think the point is that the body is going to become a zaris. Means tchias hamesa means that a person is going to be together. The body is going to be in Olam Haba also. That's the good for neshama. That the tchias hamesa means that a person is going to be, both halves are going to be joined together forever. Right. So in Olam Haba he's going to have that zrizus that he got in this world. So that's as far as we got last week, and now we're up to the second paragraph, page 7, chapter 7, in about one paragraph in. So far he spoke about the zrizus that he said in the beginning. He broke it down to 2 parts. The zrizus before you start, in order to start, and the zrizus once you've started, in order to finish. So now he's going to talk about the second part. That once you've started doing a mitzvah, so then there are some mitzvahs that are they have a time limit. There's a time to do it. Some mitzvahs, as soon as you did it, you did it. Anybody have any examples of a mitzvah which takes time? Which mitzvahs take time? Davening. But he's going to. So, but over there, usually people don't stop in the middle and then they tell them you have to finish. The issue would be over there that when they tell them to finish, he's going to say, "We don't mean to finish fast, to go fast in order to get rid of it. To unload." What is that? Bikur cholim. So let's say Bikur cholim, but that's good. Is there a chashash that a person would stop in the middle and then you have to be urged on to continue it? He's talking about a case where a person started doing a mitzvah and he then might be lazy to continue doing it.
Building the sukkah.
building a sukkah. So a person might start building a sukkah. So he started right away after sukkah, after Yom Kippur at night he started. But then he takes 3 days. Then 3 days later, then he's going to finish.
Now he's finishing it up.
So that's going to be the point, that he says not just to start right away, but also to finish as soon as possible. Also, that's why he says that whatever you could do the first night, do, and then whatever the next night. The Shulchan Aruch says 2 places. First he says V'hilchos Motzi Yom Kippur. In that example, he says to start right away, and then V'hilchos Sukkah he says that to finish it, to start the next day, or not to start the next day. But he says, so Mishnah Berurah over there explains that it means that you're saying that to start right away, but then finish it. If you didn't finish it, I finish it right away. Any other mitzvahs anybody can think of? A mitzvah that takes time, that there's a chashash, you might stop in the middle and not continue it. The mitzvah,
Next up.
that person to get his matzahs right away, but is the chashash going to stop in the middle? People don't usually do that. I'm just saying, it's possible, but more common example. If you talk about kindness and learning Torah, those are mitzvahs that as much it's not a question. It's not a question of finishing it up, because it's just going to be more and more and more. It's not a question of finishing it, but a mitzvah which has defined limitations, starting and stopping, it's finishing. So he's saying that don't procrastinate in finishing it. Finish it also as soon as you can.
There's something about Moshe Rabbeinu who was commanding, whereas that he made the cities, even though waiting might have been to his personal advantage.
I didn't understand what you said.
It talks about that Hashem commanded to designate 6 cities of refuge, and Moshe Rabbeinu, and 3 of them are supposed to be in Eretz Yisrael proper, 3 of them in Transjordan on the east, and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't come into Eretz Yisrael; he only was on the east. And really, the Gemara even says that it had it didn't take effect. Even though he designated 3 of them, since he didn't have all 6 of them, it wasn't yet effective. But still, he did as much as he could, and he was Zariz, he was ALACRITY in doing it as soon as possible. Over there, he couldn't finish it off. He wasn't able to finish it.
Yeah.
So also, wouldn't be. He did whatever he could. He did whatever he could.
And when he was davening, I started this mitzvah, and here it says I have to finish.
But you don't find that he says that, does he?
I didn't hear that. No.
Never heard it. But there is such a thing. Hamaschal b'mitzvah and gomor. If somebody started, so we encourage him to finish it up. And the other point is that he shouldn't procrastinate. He shouldn't procrastinate in finishing it off.
Their table already set Thursday night before Shabbos.
But over there, it's not to finish it. You're saying that it's it's finishing the preparation. Over there, it's an interesting point, because over there the mitzvah is not the preparation. Over there, this mitzvah is the Suda Shabbos, and he's preparing it. So you're saying even the preparation to do as soon as possible. That's interesting. You find that in the Hidur mitzvah that the more a person prepares for Shabbos is also considered that he's honoring the Shabbos by the preparation alone. He brings that later on in I think Chassidus. But Chassidus he brings about the honor of a mitzvah. So he says over there the preparation in itself is considered honoring Shabbos. Okay, if we get more examples, so there's an issue that besides starting the mitzvah as soon as possible, even if he started, he shouldn't say, okay, I started, I'm already in it, now I can take my time. There's also an issue that he should continue doing it until he finishes it. So that's the point he's going to talk about tonight. Once he started it, he grabbed the mitzvah, he should also be swift in completing it. Now he says, don't think I mean to say that he should do it as soon as possible in order to unload it, to get the burden off. He has a mitzvah like a burden and he wants to finish doing it, like some people will be with davening, that he wants to finish davening faster. That's not the point. The point isn't to finish davening as soon as possible because of Zrizos. Zrizos doesn't say to do that. Zrizos says that to finish as soon as possible in order that you shouldn't lose it. Not somebody who wants to ease himself, like somebody has a burden that he wants to ease the burden off of him. That's not the point. So the purpose of finishing the mitzvah as soon as possible is because he's scared, he's fearful that he might not merit to finish it. The same way that he doesn't procrastinate in starting to do the mitzvah because he's fearful he might not be zocha to do it, might be grabbed away from him. So even once he started, he's still scared that it might be grabbed away. They won't be able to finish it. So therefore, to try to finish it as soon as possible. Now he's going to bring some examples of that. If somebody, Chazal say, if somebody starts doing a mitzvah and doesn't finish it, he's going to bury his wife and children. Here it brings the story about Yehuda. That Yehuda started, that's a mitzvah that has like some kind of a length, that he started saving Yosef. Yehuda he's the one who initially started saving, Reuben had started. But it talks about here about Yehuda, I think that Yehuda also, he said, Ma besek in arogas achim. Is that the one? No, he's the one who suggested to sell him, and he could have finished. He could have continued, and because he didn't, so afterwards the parsha talks about that his wife died and his children died, Er and Onan. So the Gemara attributes it to that. The fact that he started and he could have finished and he didn't, so that's held against him. It seems even worse. What would you say? It's even worse somebody that didn't start. It doesn't say somebody that doesn't start a mitzvah is punished. So only somebody that started and didn't finish, he's punished. Why should it be? Why should it be that the person who started,
already.
The person who didn't start means he's not in there, but a person who's in it and he leaves it is more held responsible. So that's a mitzvah that's an example of something that has meshach zman, it has time, and try to finish it as soon as possible.
I thought it was brought out by Yehuda that he had the strength to, not because he started saving it, but he had the strength to
do it.
Above all the brothers to save him.
But this medrash says because kover ishto abanav, it must be because it says kol maskal b'mitzvah.
This is bringing it out of maskal.
Yeah, it says that's how the statement says kol maskal b'mitzvah ein gomer. Another chazal. Ein mitzvah nikris ela al shem gomra. If there's a mitzvah that was started by one and finished by a second party, so the mitzvah is called upon the name of the one who finished it. He's the one who, let's say somebody would have started writing a Sefer Torah and somebody else finished it. So the one who finished it is the one who is credited for it.
He gets the merit for the whole thing.
It talks about maybe the Mishkan, I'm not sure, that the one who finished, I'm not, or it talks about the bones of Yosef. I'm not sure what the Midrash that's referring to. When it says they brought the bones of Yosef, so then some people started bringing it, and then the one who finished it is the one who is credited for it. The pasuk in Mishlei says, if you see a person who's swift in his work, and then you should know he's going to be standing before kings. He's not going to be standing before chashukim, darkened, dampened, dimmed people. He's going to be a person who's going to eventually make it big. So he's talking about in Mishlei, in Proverbs, he's talking about the praise of a person who's a Zoris. But the Chazal, the praise of a person who's ALACRITY, who's swift, with the swift. But Chazal, they take the pasuk that Shlomo Melech has said, and they turn it around that it's referring to him. Not that he meant to refer to himself. He's just talking about a person who is swift, so eventually he's going to attain great things. So Chazal say that the pasuk could well be attributed to himself. They attribute to him this praise, that he was praiseworthy for being swift. He was swift in building the Beis HaMikdash. Shlomo Melech was the one who had the opportunity to build the Beis HaMikdash. He didn't procrastinate, he started as soon as he can. And also he finished it as soon as he can. And over there the Medrash points out both things, both that he started as soon as possible, and also he did it swiftly. The Medrash points out that to build the Beis HaMikdash took him 7 years to build that structure, and his palace, which wasn't a bigger palace, it took him 13 years to build it. So it means that in his own palace he took time. He wasn't so rushed. But in the same size building that would have taken the same amount of time, he did it almost in half the time. So that's considered a shevach to him, a praise that he was swift both in starting and also in finishing it off. V'chein d'rashuhu al Moshe olav hashem. It's also referred, they dash in the same phrase to Moshe Rabbeinu also, Shemir b'melachas Mishkan, that he also was swift in building the Mishkan. I guess both, they're also starting it and finishing it. He did it as soon as possible. He didn't procrastinate, not in pushing off to start and not pushing off to finish. Now I think for now on, the rest of the discussion now I think he's not going to have to talk about finishing. He brought both parts, both halakim, to start as soon as possible and to finish as soon as possible. Not to. Why would there be? The truth is, why would there be why would a person think that once he started, there's more reason to procrastinate than if he didn't start? Is there more of a yetzer hara? Is there some kind of a tzad that a person might think that he started already? Or else it will be the same thing. Is there inherently any difference between procrastinating to start or procrastinating to finish? For the same reason that he doesn't procrastinate to start, wouldn't the person already realize? Is there a separate issue? I started already. I'm in the middle of it. So he justifies himself. I started.
It's already already.
It could be it's human.
Finish it off.
It could be it's human nature. It could be it's human nature that even though intellectually maybe there might not be a difference. Logically, it might not be a difference because for the same reason that you're scared and you started right
As far
away.
as reaching the goal, he's still
As far away. If he didn't, and if there's a reason why he knows that he should be swift and alacritous because it might lose that opportunity. Even if he started, he also should have the same fear. But there could be human nature is that I started already. I'm in it. I'm in middle.
It's easier for the
Almost-
her to
almost finished.
convince him that he doesn't have to finish it.
Because he already started, he's in the middle. So that's the point. So he wants to lafuke. He wants to exclude this svara.
if the boss tells you to write a report.
So I'm in the middle. I started. I guess the kids with homework, that they have some kind of report to do. So I started the report. Okay, I started. But the same problem, not starting, could be even if without finishing also. So if a person, even if he started the project, he should continue it and continue to be steady and continue it until he finishes it. The rest of the Mamor he's going to bring now, I don't think is Dafka talking about finishing it. But now he goes general, the whole issue of being alacritous, both in starting it as soon as possible, finishing it as soon as possible. See, look, you always see that the righteous, they always act swiftly. Avrohom Ksibo, Avrohom Oela El Saro, Vayomer Mahari, Vayitein Alana, Vayimaher. The whole story of Avrohom with the guests, the three guests that came. We know that it was angels at the end. So it says over there that he rushed to tell Sarah, and he told Sarah to rush, and he told the Nar to rush. So about the calf, Egel ben Bakor. So all the things that he says over there was swift. The Rivka, Batamar Batar Kado Alashokas, when Eliezer, Eved Avram, when he asked for water, so it says that she swiftly emptied out her jug. So everything was swift. So over there it's talking about the wife of Manoach, Shimshon's mother. We learned it recently. So it says over there also when she saw them, when she got the message from the Malach, so it says that she ran to tell her husband. I think maybe that's talking about the second time that he appeared, that she hurried to tell her husband. So on that the Medrash points out that tzaddikim, they always act swiftly. They always act swiftly. Asher lo yitnu hefsek zman, lo alas cholas hamat mitzvah, v'lo alash lamasa. They don't give time to lapse, not to start the mitzvah and not to finish it. They're always doing b'mehirus. They always do swiftly. I think just a side point that zerizus doesn't just mean, maybe we said it last week already, that doesn't dafka mean running, what we call running like usually children only run. You don't usually, or emergency, but you don't usually see people running. But I think what we call the way a person walks on a business street, like he's going to do, he's doing something.
Directed somewhere.
He's goal directed. He's not going like in a park. Some people casually, like not going any place, just strolling. So that's what it means to run. I think also in Hilchos Shabbos also that it doesn't mean dafka if you run what we call running, lifting up your feet, but it means walking hurriedly. It's also considered also on Shabbos, I think. But I'm just saying as a possibility, maybe check it out. But I think that walking on Shabbos also is supposed to be a stroll. The Shabbos walk is like people come from shul Friday night. That's the Shabbos stroll. They're not going any place. We're in Shabbos. So I think that's the point of not running. So to a mitzvah, it shouldn't be a stroll. To a mitzvah, it should be hurriedly. What a person would do when he goal directed. He's getting someplace. Now the rest of the parak, in my book it doesn't have a new paragraph, but I think it definitely should be a new paragraph over here. And he brings a new issue now. The connection between acting swiftly and enthusiasm. He's going to connect the two and say how they're related. Till now he didn't talk about enthusiasm mostly. He just spoke about swiftness, to do it right away. And not to procrastinate, to be alacritous. But now he's going to make a connection between alacrity and enthusiasm. V'tireh sheha'adam asher tilhat nafsho va'avodas boro v'adai shelo yitzastel ba'asiyas mitzvot. So you'll see, take note, that a person who's enthusiastic about service of Hashem, of his Creator, he's surely not going to be lazy in doing his commandments because he's enthusiastic. It's a natural result of somebody's enthusiastic that he does it swiftly. His movements will be like the movements of a fire, that everything moves, it jumps up. He's not going to rest or be tranquil until he finishes his project. A person who's enthusiastic about something, he doesn't try to find excuses, he doesn't procrastinate, he doesn't stroll. He's because of his enthusiasm, the enthusiasm is the cause, and swiftness is the result, the cause and the effect.
What would you say enthusiasm? What's the...
I use the word tilhat.
Wow.
Tilhat. Tilhat nafsho. That's today also in Hebrew they would call it hitlahatut. He's mitlahit.
It's from burning?
So it literally means the flame. Lahat is a flame. Lahat acher v'misapeches. But the word that he's talking about is what they say. He also uses the mashal of a flame. He says, "Continuas ha'isham hiras," like a fire, that the flames jump. So a person,
enthusiasm. That's.
I think that's till not nafsho. Oh, that's
Fiery.
fiery. We also use the word fiery.
There's energy.
So, but tilat nafsho, tilhat nafsho. His soul is fiery. A fiery soul. That's called enthusiastic.
How about enthusiastic?
Any
Enthusiasm
translation?
Sort of it's a psychological state. It's a motivation. That's why I think that the enthusiasm is a motivation of the zriza. So you go. I'm into this. I'm enthusiastic, so I go fast and do it.
So I think that's what he's saying. He's saying that a person who happens to, but he's not saying yet how to acquire it. He's saying if a person, think whatever he's enthusiastic about. He's enthusiastic about a ball game, so he's not gonna stroll there. He's gonna run. I don't think people stroll. I haven't been there, but the people probably don't stroll in when they let him get the ticket. They probably
want
right.
They want to be here early.
Do I have a translation for this word tilhat nafsho? Any translations here? A person tira sha'adam asher tilhat nafsho. Any
The person whose soul is aroused to the service of his creator.
no, not. I would say it's not again.
The man whose soul burns.
Burns. Okay, burning. He's a burning soul.
That's an enthusiasm.
That's I would think the word is enthusiasm.
Motivation.
If you may. Motivation means because of the enthusiasm he's motivated.
Right.
But it's a.
He was saying because he's quick, he'll be enthusiastic, or no?
No, he didn't say that yet. He didn't say that.
Enthusiasm
Because he's enthusiastic, he's going to do it quickly. Now he's going to go to the next point.
Motivation.
It is a motivation. He doesn't need a motivation. He's motivated. He's motivated. The word motivation means to make a move. Motivate means that one makes a move. If he's enthusiastic, he's motivated. That's his motivation. Whatever. He didn't give it yet a specific case. He does talk about avodas boro, but think of anybody in life. If he's enthusiastic about something, he does it right away. He doesn't need any coaxing. He doesn't need any pushing. He's on his own. He's motivated, and he'll do it right away. He'll do it bizrizus. He's not going to procrastinate. So he's safe. The person who's enthusiastic is safe from all these problems. The problem was that if you do it slowly, the Yitzhak will come, take it away. Things are going to happen. He's not going to have the opportunity to be taken away. But a person who's enthusiastic is not in danger because he's going to do it right away. He's going to be swift. But now he comes to learn from that. Once we connect enthusiasm to swiftness, so now we could learn how to make ourselves another benefit of being swift. And this is a yesod that now I think is known already in the world by many things, in the physical world, in physiology and psychology, that when two things are connected, that usually one motivates or energizes the second. You could also turn the table. You could pull the other one and cause an effect. Now you could use the effect to also be a pull on the cause. And they use it in a lot of, I've heard it, let's say when a person is anxious, so he starts breathing heavier, faster. So they found that if a person forces himself to breathe slower, he's going to calm down. They're related already. So if you consciously breathe slower, a person is nervous, he's anxious, and he starts breathing heavier. So if he'd be able to calm himself, he would breathe slower. But if he breathes slower, it's also going to affect that he's going to be calmer also. So like it's been tried and tested. Here he says, they say also about muscles also. If you, certain muscles, if you start, the outer muscles that you have control on, so they say that if you make movements with them, opening and closing, it's connected to the other muscles that you don't have control on. Inner muscles that a person doesn't have doesn't have control on them, they're also going to start the same pattern. When two things are connected, so then if you pull on one of them, it's going to affect the connected. So here, that's going to be the Mesillas Yesharim's chiddush over here. That once we know that enthusiasm causes swiftness, if you're going to consciously make yourself swift, even though you're not enthusiastic, in turn, it's going to bring enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. That's the big chiddush of the Mesillas Yesharim. Just like enthusiasm will bring swiftness or naturally, so if you consciously will make yourself swift, it's also going to trigger your enthusiasm.
It's a major premise in behavioral psychology.
Right.
Act like you're happy, and you'll.
Oh, so I'm not sure about that. I want to get to that, but I'm not. I think it's a bigger chiddush. If they think that that's true, it's a bigger chiddush. But
That's the fun.
I'm not.
Bliskin,
So that's the question. If a person's going to put up a big smile, it's going to make him happy or not.
Eventually, it'll
So that's the question. Mesillas Yesharim doesn't say it. I would question it, but let's take about the first what he says. That he
You
says.
see it by, if you're Zoriz, you make yourself faster, enthusiastic will follow.
Yeah, that I agree. But you say something else now. Now you said that if you act if you act as if you're enthusiastic, not the totzaot. Here he's talking about the person enthusiasm brings results, active results that a person is going to be swift. So he says that if you act swiftly, it'll trigger your enthusiasm. But if a person is going to make his facial expressions as if he's enthusiastic, is that going to bring on enthusiasm? That's a chiddush that I don't know. I think it's not so simple.
The muscles and
the muscles
and the hormones.
Okay, that's the question. If it's true, it might be, but I'm not sure. I'm very hesitant. I mean, a person is going to artificially make himself as if he's faking an emotion. That Mesillas Yesharim doesn't say.
Prime the pump, kind of.
So I'm not sure. I have a kasha. First, I have a kasha from the facts. Also, I see sometimes it doesn't work. I think mean to say it doesn't work. I meant to say it doesn't work. That if a person makes himself outwardly happy, and he's not really happy, the pasuk talks about shor b'shirim al lev. To sing a song to somebody who's in a depressed mood, it doesn't make him happy. The pasuk says, on the contrary, it makes him deeper into a depression. But if a person is happy, so then he's happy to sing. But to sing a song to a person who's depressed, it's not going to get him out of it. And I think people also, if they fake their emotions, I'm not sure. I'm very hesitant about that. I would be wary of a person to fake his emotions.
A behavior will bring.
But you see all the time in hospitals where people go Chaim David goes and cheer them up by singing. And these people are very depressed, and then they start dancing, and they get cheered up by songs. You see, sometimes it does work, and that's I see a lot of times.
So it's interesting something.
Shor b'shirim al
You see a lot of people, they go to nursing homes and really brings them out
of their depression.
Because nobody visits them, nobody sings to them. It definitely helps.
Okay, so I'll leave that as a question. I asked Chaim David, and we spoke about it.
And what did he think?
No, he did ask the question, and we spoke about it, and we were trying to figure out what the difference is. I don't recall if we did. Shor b'shirim al lev. It's a pasuk in Mishlei that a person who sings to a person who's depressed, so the pasuk makes it like it's not a smart thing. So I will leave it as a question meanwhile. But the
person who sings to somebody who's depressed, is it a good thing? It's not.
So the pasuk talks about that. It's not going to take him out of the depression. If he's depressed, it won't take him out of the depression. It'll just make him, more depressed, or he won't be happy about it.
Cases you can see that.
So okay. So we have to know when it is. But here he's talking about what's that?
What song?
How good the singer is.
So here he talks about the connection between enthusiasm and swiftness. And now he's going to say the chiddush that if a person acts swiftly, it's going to trigger his enthusiasm. V'amnam, his boni nod. See, contemplate. Shekemo shazrizos hu toledes aslatus hapanimi. Just like swiftness is a result of inner enthusiasm. Kain menazrizos yivoled aslatus. So too, from swiftness will result enthusiasm. V'hainu, I mean to say, kimisha margish atzmo b'maseh mitzvah. The word margish means that he makes himself move. I think that's the word machpiz. You find it in some places that the word margish doesn't mean the way we use it, that he feels. And in modern Hebrew, the word margish means to feel. But I think here the translation would be like machpiz. I wrote down, the Gemara talks about sha'on, hamaya, mehuma, margish. So if somebody consciously makes himself move by doing the act of a mitzvah, just like he swiftens his outward movement, he's causing that his inner movement should also be enthusiastic, be burning. And his desire and will get stronger and stronger.
This is part of the thing. They say to to people who are sick or whatever, walk, move. If you don't move, you get depressed. If you move and be active, it helps.
So here's going to say that it's going to make you, if you do a mitzvah swiftly, it's going to make you enthusiastic about the mitzvah. There might be some conditions that it's dependent on. We'll say soon. If he acts heavily in the movement of his limbs, he moves heavily, then also his enthusiasm is going to extinguish. It sounds like even if he's enthusiastic also, even the other way also, he's enthusiastic, but he's outwardly acting slow, it's gonna dim down, it's gonna die out. This is something that the experience testifies to. So now that we have this connection between, I've heard written down, someone told me, I guess in one of the earlier classes, that this was found about 100 years ago by William James. Anybody? This point about psychology, that the person outwardly does a movement, it's going to also cause an emotional change. In this case here, that he acts swiftly, it's going to ignite in him enthusiasm. He's going to eventually come to say that another side benefit of being enthusiastic, of being swift, is going to be that it's going to ignite his enthusiasm. You know that the main thing that Hashem wants, he doesn't say the main thing, he says Hashem wants very much. The most thing that Hashem wants is when he does it with desire, that a person just doesn't do the act without desire. He desires it, and he has tshuka, he has craving. That's what David HaMelech praises him, happy about himself, happy about his situation, that he says, all these psukim that David over there talks about Bnei Korach in Tehillim, that he says the same way that a deer yearns for the yearns for the water, so too my soul yearns for you, O God. My soul is thirsty for you, Hashem. Nichsefa, what's the word for nichsefa? My soul goes out to come to the Chatzos Hashem. My soul is thirsty for you. My flesh yearns for you. So all these psukim talk about the greatness of the yearning. The main thing that Hashem would want is the person's soul, that he has his soul yearns for Hashem, not just to do the mitzvahs. But now the point comes that once you know this yediyah, once you know this fact, that is a way to ignite your enthusiasm. A person who doesn't have this enthusiasm burning in him as much as it should be, so there's a good advice for him. He should consciously make himself move. He should consciously. He should willingly, consciously make himself move. That will cause that eventually it'll result in his natural desire. This is the famous quote from the Mesillas Yesharim, that the outward act arouses the inner.
I didn't understand.
That outward action will arouse the inner emotion. Surely a person has more control over his outward acts than his inner emotions. If he uses what he hasn't control over, he has control over his outer actions, he'll be able to acquire eventually what is not in his control, which is the emotions. That'll be born in him, the inner happiness and the desire and the craving, because of what he is in his outward movements. He's acting in a enthusiastic way.
Towards a mitzvah? I mean,
here he's talking about a mitzvah. He's applying it to a mitzvah.
Yeah, but he's even sounding like
it's a principle of psychology.
And you'll feel better.
It doesn't say that. I don't think he says that.
So he's talking moving towards the mitzvah.
Something which right. It's true. Are you saying that physical activity makes a person feel good? I'll tell you all kinds of studies about that. But his point is the thing that related is here. Here he's talking about at least the swift. The reason why he connects it is because you see when a person is energetic, enthusiastic, he does things swiftly. So now the swift movement will in turn trigger backwards the enthusiasm. There's a point they say from the Chafetz Chaim that the Mechanchim point out. The educators, they point out that the Chafetz Chaim, they asked the Kasha that the Russian army, they were taken to the army for 25 years, they were enlisted for 25 years, and they were known as being swift as lightning as long as they were in the army. But once they were released, so then they were living off
What, the Russian soldiers, you said?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I think the Russian army, maybe a certain Kufa, the Bolsheviks. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but they were enlisted for 25 years, and they were known to be swift like lightning. But then once they were on pension, once they were finished, and then they would be the symbol of the opposite. Then they would be a symbol of being a log, that they would not move at all. They would just sleep the whole day and drink and be next to the oven and sleeping and drinking. So everyone has the kasha. What happened to the Mesillas Yesharim? It says, they're running for 25 years without stopping. So he said a yesod. He said a principle which explains the Mesillas Yesharim, that there's one factor that's necessary. It has to be that he wants to get there. He wants the result. If a person is, he said it, the way it's quoted is that for 25 years they were running towards the liquor. They were running towards the bed, the oven, to be able to sleep. The whole time they were not happy about
Waiting
it.
to get out of the army.
They didn't want it. They weren't happy about it. They didn't want to get enthusiastic. They didn't, right. So that's not going to help. So if you do exercise, let's say someone forces you to do exercise. Let's say you're forced to do exercise, so you're not going to
get motivation from that.
But you might lose weight, you might get stronger bones, but it's not going to have the effect. If a person has to have the will that this should bring him to that enthusiasm, it means a person he wants to be enthusiastic. He starts off, I want to be enthusiastic, but I'm not enthusiastic. So we tell him that there's a nature that a person who will move himself outwardly, it'll affect his enthusiasm. That's because he wants to get there. He wants to get the enthusiasm. But if he doesn't have that fact, if he doesn't want the enthusiasm, it's not going to help. That's why they tell the educators, parents, teachers, that don't use this system blindly to think that if you're going to force the children to do something outwardly, so eventually they'll eventually they're going to get enthusiastic about it. It's not true, because the kid has no reason to want that. You have to instill in him a desire that he should want to be that great. He should be enthusiastic, at least about wanting to be enthusiastic. So then, if he has a desire for that, so then it's true that you'll help him along with the actions. He'll get there. But if he has no goal to get there, it's not going to help, and that's going to be counterproductive. So you have to use this Mesillas Yesharim with this clause that's attached to it. We're gonna know and run to know Hashem. There's a certain, I don't know what he proves from over here. There is such a thing as running to know Hashem, but I don't see what he proves here about this point, about the connection between the enthusiasm and the swiftness. Because of they go after Hashem like a lion who roars and he's followed. I think that's what it's saying over there. A lion roars. I think over there the pasuk is referring to, I'll just look it up a second, Hosea 11:10. I think that's the point of the pasuk goes over there, is that when, like, as if the lion is the leader and he roars, everybody follows him. Whoever's supposed to follow him. There it says, Achri Hashem Yelchu Karyeh Yishag. Over the Hashem, people, Am Yisrael, are going to go after Hashem the same way that when a lion roars, everyone they go after him. So, as if to say that Kihu Yishag V'Yechvidu Banim Miyam. The martial of the pasuk seems to be talking about that the lion roars. I don't know in the jungle how it works, but
the king of the jungle, so everybody is.
So everybody, but here it says that they're following him. So I'm not sure what he brings from this pasuk. These two pasukim he brings, I don't see how he learns from this pasukim the point about the connection about enthusiasm. But he finished the point of the Kinyani, the Chelki Azrizos. He spoke about starting as soon as possible and then also finishing as soon as possible. And he also added on at the end the connection between the enthusiasm connected to swiftness. So he doesn't mean to say, people sometimes make a mistake, I think I've heard a mistake, that as if this is the way to acquire zrizos. He really didn't start the point. It's a side benefit. It's a side benefit. He's telling you to act swiftly, and then you'll get enthusiastic. But he didn't tell you how to act swiftly. The zrizos means acting swiftly. So he told us the benefits, and now we add on another benefit that it's going to also bring you enthusiasm. If we add up all the benefits, the main thing he said before in the previous parak was that it'll help you to do the mitzvahs. You won't miss out on any mitzvahs. Also in this parak he said earlier that it's going to be a certain shleim shlav in olam haba, that being swift is a midah that you'd want to have in olam haba, and over there it's not work, over there it's schar. So you should be over there also swift, from strength to strength. And now he's saying it's also going to result that you're going to be enthusiastic, and that serving Hashem with enthusiasm is a great madrega. But he didn't tell you how to act swiftly yet. You still need a kinyan. It's not a kinyan. This is just a fringe benefit that when you're going to be swift, it's also going to help you to become enthusiastic. But how do you become swift? What makes you move? So he's going to tell you now in the next parak. Next week, Be'ez Hashem, how to acquire the midah of acting swiftly. What's going to make a person? What's going to make him move? So that we didn't learn yet. We just talked about what the importance of the midah is and its parts. Today we had two parts: it's doing it, starting as soon as possible, and also finishing it as soon as possible. And how to acquire it is going to be next parak ches. How to acquire the attribute of ALACRITY. Yashikah.